Hi, Sirra. Yeah, this is yet another after the show when you had an exclusive interview with Patrick today. It was such an interesting one. Take us through what happened today.
Mohammed, thank you so much. Indeed, it was such an educational forum. Of course, prior to starting the show, I said that there is so much wisdom in that head. He's gonna kill me for saying that head, but yeah, that's the fact, right? And of course, that's why we are Up and Running Generation Next. Of course, we are a youth movement platform, and wherein we inspiring, motivating, and directing young people's participation towards responsibilities in the developing society. So, of course, this is as much, or this much we can offer us, our young persons, right? I always say that we all have a role to play. We all have a role to play, and we all have a story to tell. So if you can help anybody in any way, be it a wisdom you've got, a knowledge you've got, it's meant to be shared. And he talked about that. But also, he mentioned some soft skills that one needs to have alongside your education, because he said when we educate you, it's not for the sole purpose of having a job, right? So we educate you to not only have a job, but to create a job, but also to get you aware. And some of the things that he mentioned, I would love to share. Of course, he talked about the soft skill or skills in addition to your education, and he mentioned communication. Mohammed, we all know how important, how imperative, how key communication is in whatever one does. So he mentioned communication, he mentioned teamwork. I always talk about collaborative is critical, and we must respect that. We have to come together as a team if you want to achieve certain things. He talked about adaptability. You need to get adapt to whatever circumstances you find yourself. We are human. God has created us in that manner, in that fashion. So he talked about that. He talked about controlling your emotion. It's important. You know what? We all can get angry. We all can get furious. But you need to be able to control your emotion. Is key, is imperative. He talked about networking. You don't just sit within the comfort of your home and network. If you want something, you must go out and get it. So networking is key, it's important. He talked about being humble. Mohammed, above all, humility plays an imperative role. You may be educated, you think. You may achieve all there is to have, all the material wealth there is to have on this earth. But if you're not humble, you're nothing. So humility is important, it's key. And I think it's a message that any other young person who has watched the show would definitely concur to that. But not only do you hear him speak and say, oh yeah, that's true, we have to adapt to that. We have to make sure that it's part of us and we live with it. I think that's the message I have. Talk about
And
the feed.
just the feedback part, yet still on Patrick. He made mention of something about the education system. It's not preparing us well for after the education, because at the end of the day, what you learn in school is not fully what you practice and when you get to the real life.
Exactly.
So that means our education system should also be
Needs
looked
to be
at
looked at.
by the ministries, the relevant ministries, to make sure that the generation next also have a platform in which they are learning what they can practicalize,
Yes.
in the future.
Yes, yes. Not all born in it. We are not all born to be an educationist. You know, if you practicalize things in that sense, because I might be innate in playing football. Like I always give example, Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Others would say this is innate talent. It's something that he was born with. But Cristiano, this is something that he had to groom himself. So we need to understand that we all cannot be an educationist. In that regard, it's imperative, it's important that of course some of certain skills should be inculcated or should be structured in our educational system. Of course, if I'm not good at academics, I might be good when it comes to using my hands. So it's important we look at it, because if you are to look at how things, I mentioned that when I was interviewing Patrick, I mentioned that when you go to any far left, right, center of this country, you see mostly young men gathered in a crew, they call it, and then drinking green tea or attire. I'm sure they might not be academically good, but they would be good in other areas. Right, so provided that those skills sort of are provided in our educational system, perhaps if they cannot do one thing, then they may have be engaged in something, but it does not only limit to that. The mindset also is imperative, is key. I think Patrick mentioned the difference between the Gambia and that of Kenya. And then he talked about our system kills, the system itself makes us lazy, because
Right.
he mentioned when he was 15 years old, he and his friend were able to come up with a business,
Right.
a maize business.
Yeah.
So our system here is completely the opposite, because come on, you get up in the morning, there is breakfast for you, there is lunch for you, there is dinner for you. Come on, I'll be succumb to sit and do nothing, because I know at the end of the day there will be food available.
And he said that when he picked up his first job, I think that have affect a lot of people here. When you have a degree, you have a you train to pick and choose the jobs you want to pick, not knowing you can start from anywhere,
Yes.
and then grow in that
Yes.
area, rather
Yes.
than just saying, okay, I have a degree, I can pick up this job. What's important is just practicalize, just start doing something. Maybe that will help you to grow yourself within that organization. What do you think?
Happy, I'm happy that you brought that up, because I remember when I also responded to what he said, and that is how many of us think, right? Because you've perhaps spend a lot when it comes to your education, material wise, cash wise.
Yeah.
You spend a lot to get to achieving your degree, and then now you finish, and then you've gone to find a job, and they're giving you a job that is paying you lesser than what you've paid your education. Right? So perhaps most of us would look at it in that context, and we're like, no, I'm not going to take it, because I've spent a lot when it comes to my education. So you don't expect me to go and get a job that is actually lower than, you get my point.
Yeah.
So that is how many of us would think. But also from another angle, like Patrick's side, although he was the category that he was given is lower than what he has, because he has a degree, let's say, in that that context.
Yeah.
And then because he was told you can start from here, and then from there you would grow, so he had to succumb and just go, and that's how it turned out to be. But it's not always the case. That's not always the case. But like I said, it's about the mentality as well. It
Yeah.
plays a key role, and I can use myself as an example as well, because when it comes to experience, many people would tell you, I know personally I have experience. Now, considering where I am now, it's I'm way beyond my particular task now, but I understand that it's a place where I can grow.
Right.
So I decided to go, not looking at the short-term goal I'm getting, but looking at the long-term goal I'm getting, where
Absolutely.
it's taking me. I know I'm gonna grow. So
Absolutely.
it's also,
Right.
just the mentality and how we think.
And we have deliberated well on what Patrick says today. So at this point, let's just get to the last
Yeah.
segment of it, that is getting feedback from people, and then we can close the show at this point.
So coming to the soft skills that I mentioned that Patrick elaborated, we come to the part of teamwork. When we support one another, when we come together, that is humanity to me, Mohammed. Mohammed, this is what we are doing as citizens. We are what? We are inspiring, we are motivating, we are directing, right? So if any other person watching or it's somewhere can contribute in any way, I think the best part that anybody watching could contribute is at least to reach out and try to gauge us on what we can do to improve what we are doing, or in any other way the person can reach out, can help. That would be fantastic, Mohammed. I think
Right.
it's key.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So your feedback is important. It's going to help us grow. It's going to help us, of course, grow in how we present generation next, and how we are working towards the directing that I mentioned, young people. Of course, we are the future leaders, I always say. But then the future begins now. Because if we do not hold those who are shaping our future tomorrow, if we do not hold them accountable, then what kind of future are we creating? It's like the same future. When we also get there, we are more or less getting the same system. Yeah, so I think we started now, and our tomorrow would be a better place, and inshallah, God is great, we would get there.
Right. Thank you very much, Sirra. I think that's where we're gonna get it end, and we expecting feedbacks from everybody. Tell us what we are doing right, what we need to improve ourselves in. Whatever support you can give us, we will appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sirra. Until we meet again.
Thank you.